Maria lived in a quiet, ordinary neighborhood with her devoted husband, Mark, and their playful 2-year-old daughter, Lily. On the outside, their life seemed happy and peaceful, but trouble was slowly growing underneath. Maria had developed a deep obsession with social media. Her phone was always in her hand, taking her attention away from her family. Mark, a hardworking and caring man, had fallen in love with Maria because of her warm smile and vibrant personality. She used to fill their home with joy and laughter. But over time, things changed. Maria's world became centered around her online life. The likes, comments, and followers became more important than the people closest to her. As she spent more and more time on her phone, Mark and Lily began to feel neglected and distant, left behind in the shadow of her growing obsession. One sunny spring morning, Maria was busy making videos for her followers. She spent hours getting ready, making sure her makeup was perfect and her hair styled just right. Meanwhile, Lily played quietly on the floor with Smokey, the family's playful kitten. Smokey was a little gray fluff ball, full of energy and curiosity. Mark brought him home to teach Lily about gentleness and companionship, and the two quickly became best friends. Maria hardly noticed her daughter, or the kitten, as she filmed her day-in-the-life videos. At one point, while chatting into her phone, she grabbed a pile of laundry from the floor. Lily had crawled into the pile, giggling as she played with the soft clothes. But Maria didn't see her. Without looking, she scooped up the laundry, carried it to the washing machine, and dumped it in. Still talking to her followers, she closed the lid and started the machine. The soft hum of the washing machine filled the room. It wasn't until Maria heard faint cries that she stopped. Confused, she turned off her phone and rushed to the washer. Throwing the lid open, she found Lily tangled in the wet clothes, her small face red and tear-streaked. Panicking, Maria pulled her daughter out, holding her tightly and apologizing over and over. For a moment, Maria felt horrified by what had happened. But as Lily's cries subsided, Maria's focus shifted back to her phone. She filmed a tearful apology video for her followers, saying, "Mom's brain is real, y'all." Her followers showered her with sympathy, and the flood of support eased her guilt. By the end of the day, Maria had moved on as if nothing had happened. Mark came home that evening to a seemingly normal house. Maria mentioned the washing machine incident like it was a funny story. Concerned but trusting, Mark assumed she had learned her lesson. Sadly, she hadn't. Weeks later, another close call occurred. Maria spent hours answering questions from her followers on her live stream. One afternoon, while chatting with her audience, she didn't notice Lily wandering toward the staircase. Smokey, ever curious, followed her, meowing softly as if to warn Maria. But Maria was too absorbed in her phone to hear him. Lily tripped and tumbled down the stairs, her cries echoing through the house. Smokey darted after her but injured his paw when he collided with the wall. Maria only realized what had happened when she ended her live session. She rushed to Lily, who was bruised and crying at the bottom of the stairs, and found Smokey limping nearby. Though guilt overwhelmed her again, it didn't last long. Maria comforted Lily, checked on Smokey, and soon returned to scrolling through her phone, using social media to numb her feelings. That evening, Mark came home to see Lily's bruises and Smokey's injured paw. Furious, he demanded an explanation. When Maria dismissed the incident as an accident, Mark lost his temper and smashed her phone against the wall. Maria cried and promised to change. Mark, always forgiving, believed her and even bought her a new phone. Maria's addiction only worsened. She spent hours scrolling through TikTok and Instagram, leaving Lily and Smokey to fend for themselves. Then one day, disaster struck. While sitting on the couch, engrossed in her phone, Maria didn't notice Lily wandering into the kitchen. The curious kitten jumped onto the counter and batted at the cooker knobs. Suddenly, a small flame ignited. The smell of smoke finally snapped Maria out of her digital trance. Screaming, she grabbed Lily and ran outside. By the time the neighbors called the fire department, the flames had spread, consuming much of the house. Mark arrived home to find the charred remains of their once happy home. "What were you doing?" he shouted at Maria, his voice trembling with anger and despair. Maria had no answer. Despite everything, Mark stayed, hoping Maria would change. But her phone continued to dominate her life. Nights were spent scrolling, while Mark slept alone in the guest room, unable to bear the glow of her screen in the dark. The final straw came on a morning. Maria decided to take Lily for a walk. She strolled through the neighborhood with her selfie stick in hand, chatting with her followers. As Maria spoke into her phone, Lily noticed a butterfly fluttering near the road. She darted after it, her tiny paws carrying her into the street. Maria didn't see her go. She didn't hear the screech of tires or the awful thud as Lily was struck by a car. A stranger's shout finally made her turn around. Her heart stopped as she saw Lily lying motionless on the road. Maria ran to her, her screams piercing the air as she cradled Lily's lifeless body. Mark arrived minutes later, summoned by a neighbor. Seeing Lily's body in Maria's arms, his grief and anger overwhelmed him. "I can't do this anymore," he said, his voice shaking. That night, he packed Maria's belongings and set them outside. She begged him to forgive her, but Mark's patience had run out. Maria stood alone on the street, clutching her phone with trembling hands. Everything she had once cherished, her family, her home, even Lily was gone. Her obsession with social media had cost her everything. Only then, in the silence of her loneliness, did she begin to understand the depth of her loss. But by then, it was too late to make things right. The story of Maria serves as a caution to those who let distractions like social media take over their lives. It warns us about the dangers of neglecting loved ones and responsibilities for fleeting digital attention. Maria's obsession cost her family, her home, and her happiness, reminding us to focus on real-life connections before it's too late.
Strength that always lasts. From the ashes we ascend. Broken hearts will start to mend. Flying high on wings of change. Life's a book, let's turn.